Here's Myšák, he scores! Myšák steals it from Bulldogs
with the breakaway, short-handed, shot, scores!
Now Myšák quickly had a shorty last night, and he's got one this afternoon. Myšák back the other way. He stops, drags to the middle. Jan Myšák!
Well, welcome to another edition of Bulldogs Live. This a very special one, but before we get there, obviously this is the preview show for the Jan Myšák 2020 Draft Special. That comes your way tomorrow afternoon, live, October the 5th, 2 p.m., and it is all presented by our wonderful partners at FirstOntario Credit Union, who are proud to partner with the Hamilton Bulldogs to present the 2020 NHL Draft with Jan Myšák. For over 80 years, FirstOntario has supported our community and served our members' daily and business banking needs. FirstOntario Credit Union, let's do this together. Visit firstontario.com to learn more. Now, I am so excited because for the first time since December, I have him live and online with me. You know him. Before the injury, he was slated to be the Ontario Hockey League MVP. He was the best player in the league last season, bar none. He is future Arizona Coyotes superstar, Jan Jeník. Jan, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you for inviting me here.
Now, obviously, we want to talk to you about your countryman, your World Junior teammate, Jan Myšák. But before we get there, I know a lot of fans have been asking, how has the recovery been from the injury last season?
Yeah. So the injury was a tough accident during the World Juniors, and it's been rough to going through the rehab and just doing little exercises and small steps at a time. But it took some time, and now I'm fully recovered and ready for next season. So I'm glad it's behind me, and it only made me stronger, which is really good.
Well, last season you were unbelievable, 56 points in just 27 games with the Bulldogs. I think you had scored a point in every game before you left for the World Junior Hockey Championship. What do you want to say to the fans in Hamilton that absolutely adore you?
I mean, we have amazing fans, amazing crowd every game, and it's been a pleasure to play in front of them and make this happen there.
So let's go back in time as we look forward to the NHL Draft coming up this week. Let's go back to your experience in the NHL Draft. You were selected by the Arizona Coyotes in the third round, 65th overall in 2018. And at this point, there's a whole lot of general managers and scouts going, how did we miss this guy? But what was your experience in the draft like?
Yeah, I was at the draft. It was in Dallas. It was 2018, and it's been something really nice and kind of crazy, you know. It's been something really exciting to be at, and I had a huge pleasure to be there. So I kind of feel bad for Jan that he cannot be there, enjoy it with his family, and watch the draft. Even he has a chance to be in the first round. I feel like that's a special moment in your career that you can really enjoy. So
it's unfortunate they won't be live in Montreal to be able to enjoy that together. But Jan is back home and playing right now with Litvinov in the Czech Extraliga. So he will be at least around his family when the announcement is made for him. You know Jan better than a lot of us. You played with him at the World Junior Hockey Championships. Obviously, you've seen him at different levels in the Czech Republic. What is so special about Jan Myšák?
I think it's going to be his personality and work ethic. Always humble and works really hard, and that's what makes him such a good player with all the skills he has.
Let's see. We got some fans writing in. Sean Bingham says, amazing to see you. We miss you in the Hammer. You have a great future ahead of you. Always be a Bulldog. I think that's something that a lot of people believe, Jan. You were a great player for the Hamilton Bulldogs, and well, we all really miss you here.
Yeah, I miss all of you guys, and I miss the whole Hamilton.
And Peggy Chapman, we all know Peggy very well, says, hi, Jan, miss you. Great to see Peggy watching.
Hi, Peggy. Miss you too.
I understand it at times you guys shared some food tips as well. I've been told you're quite the cook.
Yeah, I've been cooking quite well and a lot. And during quarantine, I was pretty busy with cooking, so I like my cooking.
What's your favorite dish to make?
I love steaks, so it's gonna be steak always, and always with something. Let's say potatoes, rice, but it's all about the steak.
All about the steak. How do you like your steak? Medium, rare? What do you like?
Medium rare, something like that.
Oh, we're on the same page. I got to come visit you because I got to get a good steak. Back to the hockey side of things? What's your experience been like? So we know that Jan Myšák is going to be drafted. What the experiences are like in the NHL for a player coming from the Czech Republic? You've had that experience. What has it been like for you in Arizona's system?
I mean, in my organization, everybody is really nice and helpful with everything, so there's no problems in that. It's just you're looking up to the older guys, the guys that already have some games in the NHL, and you're kind of like, wow, those guys are the guys. And that's probably the biggest thing, that you're a little nervous during the practices and workouts, let's say, but you really get into it, and after some time you get used to it.
How easily do you think Jan Myšák will fit into an NHL training camp?
I think he's gonna be fine. He is a smart kid with bright future, so I'm not worried about that.
When you guys played together for the Czech World Junior team last year, did you have a lot of conversations with him about coming to Hamilton, what the OHL was like, or were you guys really just focused on trying to do what you could in front of your home country?
We talked about it a bit, but we are really focused on the World Juniors, I would say. So not as much.
I know a lot of fans really were hoping, and myself as well, we're really hoping to see you and Jan Myšák together with the Hamilton Bulldogs. Did you think about that at all, and how special that connection, if you and Jan Myšák and Arthur Kaliev would have played together as a line, or just having you both on the same team with the talent that would have been around you?
Yeah, I was really excited for that, and I was actually, after 2 games at the World Juniors, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to be back in Hamilton to play with those guys. It's going to be really nice.
As you look at your Bulldog teammates and what the team looks like for this coming season, you saw a lot of growth in this team. You were an older player on a team that saw guys like Logan Morrison, Avery Hayes, Tag Bertuzzi, Nathan Staios. I mean, I could go on all day with the list of guys that you saw growing and developing last season. What do you think of that team moving forward? How good do you think that core can be?
I feel like this team has a good potential and could get really far in this season. It's just about the hard work and maybe a little luck.
This is a great question here. Sean Bingham writes in, who do you model your game around? I remember your first year here, you were banging, crashing, fighting, and putting up points like crazy. Who did you look up to? Who was Jan Jeník's idol growing up?
So my idol was always Pavel Datsyuk, which I can't really compare my game to him, I feel. So I don't even know who would I compare to myself. I feel like I'm kind of just different player, and I play my own game, which makes me kind of special.
I always kind of thought you had a little bit of Jaromir Jagr in your game. That way that you could hold the puck way out at distance and throw your back into people. And if you didn't want to give it up, they weren't going to take it off of you.
I mean, I wish I would be half like Jaromir Jagr, so that's good to hear.
What is it? Speaking of that, a countryman of yours, a guy that obviously you would have seen growing up a ton, how is it that Jaromir Jagr can still play at his age in one of the top leagues in Europe, still put up goals, still put up points, and still be just a beast on the ice? What makes him such a special ageless player?
I don't think he's from this planet, probably. I don't see an explanation for it.
That would also explain the hair, too, because I don't think anybody's been able to do hair like that.
It's unbelievable. It's something, it's actually crazy, and it's just good for him. It's awesome.
Now,
it's really cool.
do you think that I don't know if there would ever be the chance, but would you ever like I think I know the answer to this, but would you ever like the opportunity to play with him at the World Hockey Championships or just briefly before his career comes to a close?
I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Exactly. Moving forward for you with the Arizona Coyotes, what have they told you about this coming season for you?
So we got a new GM, I think a couple of weeks ago. So I haven't talked to him yet, but looks like I'm gonna have a chance in the training camp before the season to make the team, and that's all about me. It's gonna be all about my work ethic and how do I do in the games.
I've talked to a lot of people, scouts, journalists that have seen a lot of your game, and there's a lot of people who really believe that if you show up to camp and play the way that you play, that you're going to be on the Arizona Coyotes. I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of faith in you taking that step to the next level, and it looks like Arizona is right at that point where they're moving in the right direction. And if you're on that team, Jan, you're going to have a lot of really good young talent around you that you guys can all build forward together.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and it's something I'm really excited about to get the chance for fighting for a spot on the team and trying to actually make it happen. The dream I always had. It's really cool.
Do you have any idea of where Jan Myšák might go in the draft? Do you have anywhere that you think he would really fit in well?
I honestly have no idea because I remember when it was my draft, I had no idea. It's whoever takes you,
yeah,
you are theirs. That's all.
You're just excited to go on just excited
Exactly.
to be called, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to see Arizona pick him up and bring him into the organization with you? Do you think that'd be a good addition there?
That would be perfect. There is no Czech or Slovak players, so
have somebody with you, right?
An extra buddy.
Yeah, that's right. As you see the start of the season, obviously things are different with everything that's gone on health-wise, and the NHL finishing their playoffs in September as opposed to June, the season being delayed. Have you had a chance to see any of the hockey from overseas? The KHL has gotten underway. I know in Czech they're starting to get underway as well. Have you had a chance to see any of that and see some of the players overseas so far this season?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of games. I haven't really watched them. I've seen the results and how some of the players did during the games. But yeah, it's good that hockey is back and something I'm really excited about.
From your point of view, how is this going to be different with fans maybe not being able to be in the arenas at least to start the season? I know you mentioned it when we talked back in November that you really fed off the Hamilton crowd. If you've got to start up the season without fans in the stands, are you able to draw on sort of the excitement of getting fans back in, that you can kind of look forward to a certain moment and draw some strength from that?
I mean, it's going to be something really different and kind of even weird, but I feel like everyone should be able to anyways get into it and be fine playing.
Another question coming in, Sean Bingham again. Essentially, what is the biggest difference between playing in junior and playing in the pros? And of course, a lot of people saw you last year in the NHL preseason. You looked very, very good in your run there with Arizona. But what are the differences? And this goes back to what Jan Myšák is going to have to be aware of as well. What are those differences as you make that jump going from the OHL level to NHL competition?
I feel like it's kind of everything, honestly. Everything is just better and faster. Players are stronger and more mature. And it's just harder to, do, you've seen me do some crazy stuff like dragging the puck through the whole ice. That's impossible there. The players are just way bigger, way stronger, and they're on you all the time.
Now, as you make an adjustment like that, you've had to make adjustment twice, because you had to go from playing in the Extra Liga over to playing in the Ontario Hockey League, and then Ontario Hockey League to NHL or the pro level anyway. How is that adjustment for you going from what is a pro league to a junior league back to a pro league? How are you able to make that adjustment so well?
It's just all about the game. You need a couple games to get used to it, honestly. I feel like when I came to Hamilton, I don't think I played very well for like first 3 games, or at least not my best. It's just about getting used to a game every time.
Because I think that's one thing that people don't understand enough, is that there is a big difference between playing in Czech on the big international sized ice versus coming to the Ontario Hockey League, which is the North American sized ice. What were the differences that you knew you had to adjust to when you made that move?
In Czech, it's probably just more, the guys they have salaries, they have contracts, and the GMs, they want to win the cup. So there's no time for losing games or wasting points. That's probably the biggest difference, and that's how they play there. They just want to win the cup. They're going to do whatever it's going to take.
Well, exactly, because you and Jan Myšák went through the same thing, in that you guys as junior age players made the extra league. In fact, Jan became the youngest player in HC Litvinov history, actually surpassing the legendary Ivan Halenka in that regard. And you did the same thing, making your way over. But when you're in a European professional league, junior players don't get a lot of time to be able to develop on the ice, because you're trying to win a championship and you're trying to stay out of relegation. Was it a bit of a weight off your shoulders when you could come to a junior league, because you could make a couple of mistakes and still know that you were going to get top level ice time?
Yeah, it definitely was. I just feel like a player that's age of a junior needs a time to develop and kind of explore his hockey sense and hockey skills, and that's why CHL is there. You can do all that stuff there.
How much better did you think playing in the OHL made you?
I mean, probably like 100%. I mean, you said that before. How did they not see me before? And now, after I've been playing just juniors, because it's just better for guys like me.
Absolutely, because it felt like you went through the same thing the year after that what Jan Myšák is doing now. You came over after your draft. Jan comes over before his draft, and we saw it again this year. After you came over and started putting up tremendous points and played just awesome with the Hamilton Bulldogs, everyone kind of woke up and went, this Jan Jeník guy is really, really good. And we saw that this year. When Jan Myšák arrived, he was ranked further down, probably second, third round in the draft. By the time we're done the OHL season, now he's likely to go in the first round, and he could be as high as the top 15 or so picks. Is it just something that all of a sudden there's more eyes on you, the visibility is there, you're getting more ice time so more people can see what you can do?
I just feel like you're not playing against men anymore, and it's just junior hockey, and it's all about mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes in the game, and a lot of players can fit some good skills into those mistakes and make something out of it.
Now let's talk about one of your teammates, and you talk about making something out of it. Arthur Kaliev. When the two of you played together, it was a lot of puck possession. It was a lot of you finding those open spaces, Arthur getting away from coverage, and then you setting him for that incredible shot that he has that would just burn goaltenders right past them. When Jan Myšák arrives and takes your spot in that number one line in the middle, it sort of changed a little bit, because Myšák was flying up and down the rink, and it seemed like Arthur had to make an adjustment in how he played depending on who was with him. What have you seen out of Arthur Kaliev's growth that makes him such a special talent?
I mean, me and Arthur, we had a good chemistry, I feel like. And yeah, just how you said, he would always find an open spot, and for me it would be just easy to set him up because his shot is just crazy. It's really hard to stop.
Yeah, so, and if you would overplay him, you're wide open.
So yeah, I watched a couple of games actually when Jan played with Arthur, and yeah, it's been a little different game because we are different players, but I saw the adjustment they both made for play and work together, and I think it worked out very well.
Is that because they're both such smart hockey players that they were able, because they adjusted really quickly to playing with one another? Does that just go to how smart they are to be able to do that?
I would say that's definitely just about how smart and skilled they are. They are just good players that can adjust to each other.
Now this one's really funny. Matthew Gallant, who worked with Storm Harding in our video department this year, says, "Miss your baby shark video at games." We saw another side of your personality, Jan, after you came over. Why was it so easy for you to have so much fun with the Bulldogs?
I mean, such a good organization with so many good people in and great teammates. Something I wish every hockey player in the juniors could experience. It was just amazing, such a joy. That's all. Not that hard to get into such a great organization and just be myself.
And everybody here loved it, because I know as soon as we said that you were going to be coming on, we heard from everybody, from Bulldogs management through the fans, other players on the team who you had a big effect on. And it really shows what your time in Hamilton meant to a lot of people, that you were one of those guys after the championship season that was really part of that, turning it back around and getting these young guys ready to be another championship team, to the point where your first season with the Bulldogs, the Hamilton Bulldogs were the only team from the previous year's Memorial Cup that made the playoffs after. You were a huge part in that with Matt Strome and Arthur Kaliev and that core. Was it just instant for you? You just felt right at home here?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I was just accepted right away in the team, and from the coaches, I got a role, and I've been playing a lot. I just felt really comfortable doing everything, and I had a great billet family as well, and it made a lot easier, all of this.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I don't think we talk about enough. If you'd like to just talk about your experience with your billet family and how important they are to the success of players in junior hockey.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a big impact from the billet family on the hockey career of the junior guy. And I was very lucky to have such a good billets that would take care of me and do my laundry and cook for me and even cheer me for the games and everything. And yeah, I feel that's something really special that not everyone is as lucky as me.
I was going to say, hey, if you got some people that can do your laundry for you, that's pretty fantastic. Yeah. That's quite the chore. It piles up every
Yeah, I loved it.
Owen Hutchinson, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but thank you for everything you've done for the Hamilton Bulldogs organization. What kind of role did you play in Jan Myšák's decision to come to Hamilton? You said that you talked with him a little bit about it, but do you think that in talking to him, you had a role in him arriving with the Bulldogs?
I talked to him actually when he got drafted. So was it last June, I think?
Yes.
And I told him how awesome it is here, there, and how everything is just working perfectly. So, and we have the same agent. So I guess that was the biggest thing there, that he knew where is he going and what's going to happen there.
Now, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because your agent, Alan Walsh, reached out to me the other day and was complimenting what he felt was unlimited potential for Jan Myšák, and that people, like we talked about, didn't really see how good he was until he got to the OHL and was able to play against players his age. Your agent's somebody that's been in hockey for a long time. When he says somebody has unlimited potential, that really means something, because this is somebody that's seen just about everybody come through systems. And when Alan says that, I think that really holds a lot. And he said that about you as well when you arrived with the Bulldogs, that the potential for growth here is unlimited. And I think he's 2 for 2.
Yeah, Alan is a great person, and he really understands hockey, and he really knows what's going on. So I have a really good relationship with Alan, which I'm glad, and he always really helps me to make decisions. And he made the trade to get me into Hamilton, which I'm really glad. So, yeah.
We're all really glad about that one. We were all excited for that one. A couple of the guys who go unsung with the Hamilton Bulldogs, and I've talked to a lot of the players about these guys, and I wanted to get your thoughts on them. We didn't have the chance to earlier this season, but JP Lasiak, Casey Lamore, Danny Bushey, the athletic therapists and our equipment managers, bar none, three of the best guys that you're going to find anywhere. Three of the best guys at their jobs. What were your experiences like with them?
They're awesome. Such a cool dudes and always taking care of us and doing as much as they can. So yeah, I had so much fun with them and they would always help me. Really good guys.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to be around them a lot when we've been on the road, and three guys that until you get to see what they do and how hard they work day in, day out, I don't think people get the appreciation of them. But that's why I always ask the players about them, because you guys know, you guys see the same things that I do and how hard those three guys work to be at the top of their game. And I got to think that eventually all three of them are going to be headed to the National Hockey League, like where you are headed to, just because they're that good at what they do.
I feel like they definitely should, because they're putting a lot of work into that, and it's just not about being there. They're actually doing something. It means a lot for us players.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I remember this year actually towards the end of the season, we had a game in Peterborough. I'm not sure if you would have seen the highlights of it at all. It was a big win for the Bulldogs. It was a 3-1 final, and Cade Landry took a puck in the face, and it actually knocked out a couple of his teeth. JP came running out from the bench across the ice to the front of the Hamilton net to get a towel on Cade. He actually got the bleeding to stop enough that Cade was able to go back on the ice and kill the last 50 seconds of the game. It was really something special that you could see how hard he was working in that moment, because he knew what it meant to get Cade back on the rink, and he accomplished it, and the Bulldogs won in large part because of it. I mean, those are the little things that I just don't think people see in the game day to day.
Yeah, exactly how you said. Some people can't see that, and I mean, it's really hard to see it. I don't think when I was a kid that I would see that either. So, but yeah, JP, he does the work, a ton of work, and it should be more appreciated, definitely.
Well, I think talking like this about them will help in that regard. Here's a fun one. Matthew chimes in with, how do you like Arizona weather in comparison to Czech?
I mean, I love it here, but last couple of months was just way too hot, so
it's got to be a little
like
ice when it's 110 degrees, right?
Yeah, it's just sometimes it's too much.
Now, have you had any interesting experiences with the wildlife in Arizona? Because I've been told at times you got to watch out for scorpions and snakes in Arizona. Have you seen any of those?
Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I feel like two weeks ago, I got stung by a scorpion.
Jeez!
Yeah, then I've seen a lot of animals here: coyote, a javelina, a Gila monster, a rattlesnake, everything kind of in my backyard. So
I was going to say,
wild.
In the zoo, right? This is just out in the.
That's my zoo in the backyard, I guess.
You could open up an exhibit, charge people admission.
Exactly.
What is it like seeing a Gila monster in your backyard? I've seen a coyote in my backyard, but I have never been anywhere where I've had to worry about a Gila monster. I feel like that would be a little bit frightening.
I mean, it's a little different than Czech. All I've seen in Czech is a bee or an ant or a mosquito, and here we go, a Gila monster, a big orange thing. It's just a little scary, but you get used to it.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so. You got stung by a scorpion. What is that like?
Not my favorite. Let's say that.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I can definitely imagine that. Have you been? I guess you were saying that your recovery's come a long way. Have you been able to get back on the ice and really heavily training again?
Yeah, I have been skating for probably 3 months now. Now I had like a month off, I think, and I'm just working out, getting ready for the season. And I think in next couple of weeks I'm gonna skate again.
Perfect. And as the folks are watching on, if you joined us in late, obviously it's Jan Jeník with me here, and I know he's been such a fan favorite in Hamilton. In fact, I've got one of his jerseys sitting right behind me that was autographed. If you have any questions for Jan, get him into the chat room here. We've got a few minutes left with Jan before we're going to let him go and get back to his zoo in the backyard. I couldn't resist that one, but but as you're moving towards the NHL season, and it's great to hear that you've been able to get back on the ice, back to hard training. Have they talked to you at all about what your future is like with Arizona down the road? Do they see you as one of their future centers, one of those guys that's going to lock down the middle of the ice for them?
Yeah, that's exactly what kind of they said. It's just how I said, all about me, about my work ethic, and just keep working and playing the game as good as I can.
Andrew Oliver, well, he jumped a question on me. Okay, I'll give Andrew credit for this one. Jan, glad to hear you're enjoying Arizona. With Logan Morrison also being draft eligible, what can you say about his game, and what do you think is underrated about Logan Morrison?
I was actually a roommate with Logan this year in Hamilton, and I think we had a great time. We became great buddies, and I almost feel like brothers. So we are really close, and I hope he's going to get drafted because he definitely deserves it. He's a great hockey player with a great hockey sense, and he can play hockey well. That's all I'm going to tell you. I would definitely draft him.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. And his underrated part of his game, I think he got a lot better in the defensive zone. I think he had a lot of better there. So I think that's going to be his underrated part right now.
Absolutely. I would entirely agree with that. I think that Logan Morrison is one of those players that has a supercomputer between his ears. He just understands and reads and reacts to the game a lot like yourself, just has a real strong understanding of where to be and what to do at that time. And I think you nailed it, Jan, and that his defensive game really got better as time went along. And I think a lot of that, and in talking to Logan, a lot of that has come from watching players like you, seeing what somebody like you did on the penalty kill at even strength. And he's been able to use his incredible hockey sense to move some of that into his own game. So I think in a way you can take a lot of credit for development in this Bulldog roster.
I mean, it's a huge impact from the coaches. They taught me, and then I guess somebody can learn from me after that.
Now, I think in the next government of Canada, Logan Morrison might get some consideration for ambassador to the Czech Republic, because he had you as a roommate, and then after you, he has Jan Myšák as a roommate. I think international relations between Canada and Czech Republic have never been better thanks to Logan Morrison.
Definitely. I heard he's speaking half Czech already, so...
Yeah, that's what we've been trying to get him to do, some of that for us, and I think he's had to learn at least some to get along with you guys.
He definitely has to.
Wally steps in with, what advantage is there? We talked about this a little bit earlier, but again, for people joining in late, what advantage is there to play in the CHL for European players to prepare them for pro hockey?
I just feel like for a junior, a player of a HFN junior, it's better to play CHL because you have more time to develop and try all your skills and your hockey sense out there. And it's just the European hockey is, I would say, more mature, bigger eyes. It's just very different from the NHL. So I feel like if you want to play one day in NHL, you need to go to CHL because that's where you're going to learn everything.
Well, that's about as good of an endorsement as the CHL can get, I'll tell you that. It would be crazy to ask you right now to talk about who you think is going to be top teams in the National Hockey League next year. I mean, we haven't gotten through the draft. We haven't gotten through free agency yet. Of course, this schedule has been all over the map. So for fans like me who are European hockey fanatics, I want to ask you, who do you think is going to be a powerhouse in Czech this year? Who do you think in the Extraliga is going to be really, really strong this season?
I honestly think that my home team probably. Liberec could be really strong this year, and then there's a Hradec Králové. I don't think they lost a game this season, so maybe those two. But it's tough because some teams had only like a one game because of COVID-19. So,
well, at least
to say right now.
I know. Maybe we can catch up with you later on in the season and see how the
Hopefully
the are going. Jan Myšák, when he arrived in Litvinov and became the youngest player to make their pro team, rescued them from relegation. They looked like they were in trouble when they went into that relegation pool, and he wound up with 9 points in 6 games, led the team in scoring. And he did that on a team that had Jakub Petrzalis and Lukas Kašpar, who had both played in the Ontario Hockey League. From your perspective, Jan, as somebody who grew up in the Czech Republic that knows the Czech hockey system, how impressive was what he did to save Litvinov that season?
Yeah, it was really cool. I even think he was a captain for one game there, and I remember that he had a cage and he was a captain. It was kind of funny, but cool at the same moment. And I mean, I felt good for him that he can do so many cool things there. It was really cool to watch it as a almost his age player.
Now we've got the draft show for Jan coming up tomorrow. He's going to join us live from the Czech Republic. And as we wrap this up, I want to ask you, you've walked the same road. You came from the Extraliga to the Hamilton Bulldogs. You're going to the National Hockey League. Jan Myšák is trying to do the exact same thing that you did. There's only a couple years age difference between the two of you. We've seen how good you both are at each level as you've gone along. But what advice, if you were talking to Jan Myšák right now, and we'll play this back for him tomorrow, but what advice would you give Jan Myšák as he heads into his NHL draft?
I would just tell him, keep doing this stuff you are doing because you are doing it well. You might be a first round pick. That's something really special, and there is nothing to change except work even harder.
That's fantastic. Jan, I really want to thank you for your time. You know, you and I got along really well right from your arrival in Hamilton. I really missed you the second half of the season. I was so happy to see you get to play for the Czech Republic in Czech at the World Juniors. I know it didn't end the way you wanted it, but everyone here in Hamilton is very proud of everything that you've done. And I think you've made a whole lot of Arizona Coyotes fans here because you're playing for them there. We just want to wish you the best of luck and thank you for coming on with us today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me and having me.
This has been another episode of Catching Up Bulldogs Live with Jan Jeník. Watch for him this season with the Arizona Coyotes. He's going to be one of the best stars in the National Hockey League in just the next few years. I can pretty much guarantee that. And please join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. when FirstOntario, in partnership with the Hamilton Bulldogs, presents the Jan Myšák 2020 NHL Draft Show. We'll see you at 2 o'clock.